Well, Governor Mike Huckabee has a spring in his step. He was there for an historic event over in Israel. He's the governor of Arkansas, a Fox News contributor. He's got his own show on the weekends. He doesn't have to wear a tie because it's named after him. Governor, welcome back.
Well, great to be with you guys again. Always a delight.
So are you surprised? Here we are at this historic event that three presidents promises to pull off. This one does. And most of the coverage is how cold-hearted the Hamas was treated and the Palestinians were treated in Gaza.
Hamas is masters of propaganda. It's too bad they're not really masters of trying to help people out of poverty. In fact, their actions keep people in poverty. That's their goal, keep them uneducated, impoverished, and subservient. Let me give you an example. I've been to the Gaza border many times. They continue to try to build tunnels so they can go underground, get into Israel, and kill Israelis. Every time they build one of those, on average, those tunnels cost $3 million. The Israelis blow it up and block it. But that's $3 million that could have been built for housing, providing food, infrastructure. But in Gaza, it's an absolute disaster. And these poor people, and it's horrific what's happening to them, but it's happening at the hands of Hamas because they are using them as human shields, and they are exploiting their poverty and their complete lack of understanding of what they're being used for.
What was it like for you to be there?
It was one of the most surreal moments. I've been going to Israel. This year marks my 45th year. The first trip was in 1973 when I was 17. So in all the times I've been there, I got to be honest, sitting there in that ceremony and seeing that curtain come down and looking at the word embassy in Jerusalem, it just sent chills up my spine because it's something that many of us had been hoping for, praying for, working toward. It's not just symbolic. It is a substantive recognition, and this president deserves all the credit for having the courage to do what other presidents promised but did not deliver.
All right. Meanwhile, as we are wrapping up our segment on what was going on during your visit, let's talk a little bit about what's coming up in the month of June. It sounds like the 12th. The summit is still on between the President of the United States and Kim Jong-un, although, you know, suddenly he's kind of stirring the pot. He's saying, you know, these military exercises, I don't like those, and I don't like the fact that they're suggesting that I've got to pull the plug on all the nukes. What's going on behind the scenes, do you think? Is he just trying to continue to say, hey, I'm over here, look at me?
I think a lot of it is the bravado and saber-rattling that is necessary for him to assure his people that he's not surrendering, he's not giving up everything, that he's going into it with a sense of strength. But all of that posturing doesn't change the fact that he has been willing and said publicly to completely get rid of nuclear arms. If that indeed happens, it is an amazing reset of all of Asia. And there's no guarantee, and nobody's being so Pollyannish about it to say, oh, it's all going to be fine, because it may not. It may fall apart. But again, give Donald Trump credit for getting us closer than any president ever has in dealing with the situation of the peninsula. And when everybody was condemning him for his tough talk, turns out it worked. He had the right instincts, and he's got the right policies.
Well, Governor, not only is the president not getting credit by certain folks in the media, but some are already asking the question, if this meeting doesn't take place, is that a failure on the president's part? What does that tell you about where we are as a country, that we can't at least come together on wanting success when it comes to North Korea? That's not just good for us and for the people in North Korea. That's good for the world.
It's incredibly good for the world. And, Abby, one of the things that's frustrating to watch is people on the left who seem to hate Donald Trump more than they love the country and love the peace that this world desperately needs. They should be grateful if Donald Trump can bring some type of resolution. They need to be glad that he did it. And if they don't like him, that's fine. They don't have to like him, but they need to appreciate what he's getting done, which, by the way, is quite a bit.
It is. Also, there are a couple of dozen judges now that have been put in place. If you count the Supreme Court judge, I think it is 22 in overall. And he's pressuring the Republican senators to do more before they go on break. We're beginning to realize it's up to Mitch McConnell to start getting these people nominated and processed. Some of them without any controversy. They're just being held up by Democrats. Do you think the Republicans, because you know politicians, do you think they're getting the message?
Well, if they don't, they're going to be going home. And what they need to do is to go ahead and roll these nominations through, get these appointments filled, and not just the judicial, but also the staffing positions throughout the agencies. There are so many unplugged holes right now. And I've heard some senators say that they would like to see them work on the weekends and work overtime.
Why not?
Well, that's what everyone else does when their job isn't done on time and on schedule and on deadline. So why not the senators do what every other American has to do, and that's get the job done before they go home and take a vacation?
Well, let's see what they do. All right, Mike Huckabee joining us today from Tennessee. Sir, thank you very much.
Always good to see you, Governor.
Great to see you guys.